Very good morning to all of you. Welcome to the new session of our e-learning class. I am Rashminanjan Mishra, lecturer of UN Autonomous College of Science and Technology. Today, I am going to discuss on a subject regarding human resource management. So, on today's discussion, my topic is relating to compensation management. So, now I am going to discuss the basic concept of compensation, the different compensation systems, and what are the merits or demerits relating to that methods of a compensation system. So, now we will discuss one by one. First, we are going to discuss the meaning of compensation. Compensation is a systematic approach to providing monetary value to employees in exchange for work performed. That means, when one employee worked in an organization, in return the employee must having certain objectives to get certain monetary value. That means, in return of providing work to the organization, by providing certain work skill, the employees or every employees in an organization, they having certain intention of getting monetary benefits, and that monetary value, when it is provided to the employees in exchange of work performed by them in the organization, that is called as compensation. Compensation may achieve several purposes, assisting in recruitment, job performance and job satisfaction. So, it is achieving different process at the time of assisting in recruitment, or at the time of job performance, or at the time of job satisfaction. Now, we are going to discuss what is meant by compensation management. It refers to the policies and the procedures for managing all forms of financial return and tangible service and benefits that employees receive as a part of a employment relationship. So, when the employees worked in an organization, they get certain benefits at the time of providing work to the organization. In that case, what the policies and the procedures involved for managing all types of financial return or benefits and also tangible services that employees receives as a part of an employment relationship, that is called as compensation management. So, better compensation management facilitates to attract the employees towards the organization. When one organization having better or sound policies and procedures relating to compensation, in that case, that is called as a good compensation management, and better compensation management in an organization that facilitates to attract the employees towards that particular organization. There is one definition given by Thomas J. Bergman in the year 1988. What he defines compensation, that consists of 4 distinct components. That means, according to Thomas, compensation is equal to wages or salaries plus employee benefits plus non-recurring financial reward plus non-pecuniary reward. So, when these 4 are paid to the employees worked in an organization, that the sum total of all these 4 components is called as a compensation. So, compensation is a tool used by the management for variety of purpose to further the existence of the company. Every organization or a company, they wants to exist in the society with an aim of certain objectives or fulfillment of certain objectives with a certain period. So, in order to fulfill that objectives, they must have to take into consideration the monetary benefits which is provided to the employees. If the employee worked in the organization will not get proper monetary benefits or a remuneration, then in that case, that is not followed a good compensation system, and that is why we call that compensation is a system or tool which helps or which is used by the management for a variety of purpose for a further existence or for a future objective satisfaction or achievement. The compensation may be adjusted according to the business needs, according to the goal or objectives, as well as also the available resources. Now, we are going to discuss the principles of a compensation. The first one is to be legal. Compensation must be made with the sound policies or the procedures and the methods, and it must be get approval from the government or different private organization, those are implementing or forming the rules and regulation for all type of industrial concerns or company form of organization. So to be legal means it must get approval from the government or top management in an organization. Then the second one is to be adequate. Compensation must be sufficient so that the needs of employees are fulfilled substantially. Compensation does not mean that we will provide a certain or very low amount of wages or salary to the employee for providing work to the organization. The every employee, they are must having certain objectives that if we will work for the organization, then organization will get benefit. In return, we must also get benefit. So compensation must be sufficient. That means according to the resource availability or benefits arised or benefits derived from the employees in the organization, so that if it will be sufficient, needs of the employees must be fulfilled. Then the third one is to be motivational. That means to work more, to earn more, or to earn more must be the employee interested to work more. So when compensation increase, then it also increase the level of motivation, and also job satisfaction of the employees must be made. That means the employees are motivated that we will get higher amount of benefits, or also apart from the wages and the salary, we are getting additional benefits in terms of additional work provided by us to the organization. So when it will increase or the compensation increase, the level of motivation increases, as well as the job satisfaction of the employees also increases. Then the next one is to be equitable. That means the compensation policy should be declared in such a way so that there will be no discrimination observed in the organization. That means based upon the category of employees, the compensation should be made, and that should be made equally. If top level of employees are there, they will get a certain equalized amount of benefits. If middle level of employees, for them also a standardized or equitable amount, and also lower level, the employees will get accordingly the position, they will get the remuneration or a compensation. So when the policy is declared in such a way that there is no discrimination, in return it says that compensation is equitable for all employees. Then the next one is consistency. A proper compensation plan must be consistent and stable. That means it must be implemented in the organization, and that will be continue or a consistent, and that must be stable in nature. The sixth principle, to provide security. Employees must have a guarantee of getting wages or compensation regularly without any break. So that provides security. That means when employees work in an organization and they continuously providing benefit to the organization, in that case they must have the guarantee of getting wages, or they must have the guarantee of getting compensation, and it must be regularly and without any break. Then the next principle, to be cost benefit effective. The organization must make a balance between cost for giving compensation and benefit to be accrued from the employees. That means when organization providing compensation to the employees, in that case the organization must have a expectation of getting benefits by providing compensation. So there must be a relationship between cost and benefit. That means what the amount of compensation provided by the organization, that is called as the cost, and in return the organization must get the result or the work contributed or performed by the employees, that is called as the benefits. So it must have a equal with each other. If there will be any difference, in that case that will make problem for the organization. Then the next one is solving problem. A good compensation plan must solve the problem of the workers and not to create the problem. So when a good compensation system or plan is implemented in an organization, that means all type of problem is also solved, or a majority problem solved through compensation system, and the workers, they will not be interested to create any type of a problem in the organization. Now the next part, that is relating to components of a compensation system. There are two components. One is financial compensation system, second one is a non-financial compensation system. So what do you mean by financial compensation? Financial compensation refers to financial benefits offered and provided to the employees in return of the service they provide to the organization. That means employees, what the service provided by them to the organization, in return any type of monetary emoluments or any type of monetary compensation when it is paid, that is called as a financial compensation. Then the second one, that financial compensation includes the one is basic wages or salaries, that means what the employees get in terms of works provided or performed in the organization. The salary or wage, that refers to the cash component of the wage structure based on which other elements of a compensation must be structured. It is normally a fixed amount. So the salary or wages, that is of a fixed amount, and that subject to change based on annual increments or subject to periodical pay hikes. Then apart from that, another one is dearness allowances. The payment of a DA facilitates the employees as well as to the workers to face the price increase or inflation of prices of goods and services that consumed by him. So when the price increase or the inflation is there relating to goods and service, in that case the dearness allowance also that provides additional facilities to the employees. The onslaught of a price increase has a major bearing on the living condition of the laborer. The third one is incentive, that are paid in addition to wages and salary and are also called as payment by result. So when any type of a monetary benefits paid in addition to wages and salary, that is called as a incentives. That means that is paid on the basis of a productivity or sales or the profit or cost reduction efforts made by the employees. So there are two types of incentive. One is individual incentive, second one is group incentive. Individual incentives are applied to a specific employee performance. One employee, if that employee, particular employee performs better way, provide more productivity, then in that case additional incentive will be provided, that is called as individual incentive. Where a given task demand group efforts for completion, incentive are paid to them are called as a group incentive. That means several employees in a group, when they achieve the target or produce more output, in that case the incentive paid to them is called as a group incentive. The amount again that is latter divided among the group members on an equitable basis. Then the next one is bonus. Bonus that can be paid in different, it can be fixed percentage on basic wages paid which is annually or in proportion to the profitability achieved by the organization. Government also prescribes a minimum statutory bonus for all employees or the workers in an organization. There is also a bonus plan which compensate the manager and employees based on the sales revenue or the profit margin which is achieved. Bonus plan can also be based on piece wage system, but it depends upon the productivity of the labor generally. There is also certain non-financial compensation paid to the employees apart from the financial compensation system. So basically these benefits give psychological satisfaction to the employees. Non-financial compensation that provides psychological satisfaction when financial benefit is not available. And there are different non-financial compensation. One is recognition of a merit through certificate. Second one is offering challenge job responsibility. Third one is promoting growth prospects. Fourth one is comfortable working condition. Then the next one is competent supervision, and the next one is job sharing and flexi time. So when this type of a situation arises, that is called as a non-financial compensation system. Only that provides psychological satisfaction to the employees worked in an organization. Next, commission. Commission to manager and employees may be based on the sales revenue or profit achieved in one organization. It is always a fixed percentage on the basis of a target achieved. For taxation purpose, commission is again taxable component system or a component of a compensation. Then apart from that, different fringe benefits also provided to the employees. Fringe benefits that constitute indirect compensation, as they are usually extended as a condition of employment and that not directly related to performance of the concerned employee. Fringe benefits are supplement to the regular wages received by the workers at a cost employer. They include benefits such as a paid vacation, pension, health, different insurance plan, etc. Now we are going to discuss another part, that is designing compensation system. How compensation system is designed. The compensation system which is followed by a firm should be in tune with the unique character and culture, and that allow the firm to achieve different strategic objectives. A wide variety of options that are available at the time of designing compensation system. The first one is internal and external pay. Pay equity, which is stated previously, is achieved when compensation received that equal to the value of the work done by the employees. Compensation policies are internally equitable when employees believe wage rates for their job that approximate the job's worth to the organizations. Then perception of external equity exists when the firm pays wages that are relatively equal to what other firms are paying relating to similar type of work. Another one is fixed versus variable pay. Nowadays, variable pay programs are widely followed throughout many organizations and all levels of employees. Widespread use of incentive plan, team bonus, profit sharing program that has been implemented only with a view to link growth in compensation of results. Of course, while using variable pay system, management must look into two issues carefully. The first one is whether the performance be measured and rewarded based on individual or group or organizational performance. The second consideration should be made or focus should be made, should the length of time for measuring performance be short term or long term. These two factors should be taken into consideration at the time of a variable compensation system or variable pay system. Then another one is job versus individual pay. Most traditional organizations, they decide that minimum and maximum value of each job independently of organization or individual workers, ignoring their ability, potentiality or ability to take up the multiple jobs. And such job based pay system in the need compel capable of workers to leave the company in frustration. The employees frustrated, they leave the organization. To avoid that, knowledge based pay system has been followed and that increased day by day in modern system of organization. In this case, employees are paid on the basis of a job they can handle or the talent they have used successfully to exploit various jobs or situation in an organization. And accordingly, organization will grant an increase in pay after the employee master various skills and knowledge and demonstrate this in a predetermined standard. One of the important limitation is in this method is that employees become discouraged when they acquire new skills but find a very few rewarding growth opportunity or a high rated jobs where they can use their talent successfully. The next compensation system, that is performance versus membership. Knowledge based organization these days follow a performance based payment which plans offering awards to employees for cost saving suggestion, bonus for perfect attendance or merit pay based on supervisory appraisal. Membership based plan must be provided to employees as being a member of a group regardless of the performance. Most organizations, however, they pay their employees based on the number of hours worked per week and that coupled with the certain benefits for serving the company loyalty for a particular period. Next, compensation tool. There are two types of a compensation tool. One is a job based compensation tool, second one is a skill based compensation tool. Compensation that refers to payment means salary, wages, bonus which reward the employees for their job related performance. Job based compensation structure or job based pay system is the traditional type of a compensation system that allows or pay that set on the basis of a job itself. Employees are remunerated on the basis of a job they are currently performing. Job based compensation that emphasize job specialization and seniority. Job specialization means the depth of a job related knowledge or experience or expertise an employee brings to task. Individual employees are specialists in their designated tasks and are also rewarded according to the performance. The job based compensation that motivates the employees to perform in a better way and also move up through organizational ranks over time period. Employees receive instant pay which increase their job performance, improve or their job changes. This job based pay system is easy to administer because it focuses on allotting pay systematically and ensuring that most important jobs are paid more. Job based compensation structure are stable and predictable since they delineate and map the clear cut job and pay progression. Job based compensation structure works best in situation and organization when they are stable, have a routine as well as standardized job, and there is clear distinction among the job. Different manufacturing firms and assembly line, they typically pay their employees on the basis of a job based performance. The next compensation tool that is called as a skill based compensation tool, which referred as knowledge based pay, which is a person focused. The job based, that is job related, but skill based, that is person focused related or knowledge based related. Workers are compensated for each new skill that allow them to perform new tasks on the job. As workers gain each additional skill, their pay rate goes up. Some companies, they believe that learning a certain set of skills that lead to higher productivity, and therefore that embraces the idea of a skill based pay. There are different merits. The skill based pay rewards person for what he is worth based on his set of skill rather than what the job itself. There is a base rate for paying minimum skills, but pay progression is directly tied to on the basis of a skill acquisition. Skill based pay encourages and rewards a broad range of a skill, and the employee becomes multi-skilled and hence more flexible as well as valuable. This flexibility is increased by the performance of a multiple tasks and using job rotation to fill the temporary gap in the workforce. Then employees which used skill based pay structure, they must providing continuing opportunity for employees to gain more skill and training, which allows the company to reduce employee turnover as well as increase the professional growth. Skill based pay that emphasizes and supports skill development much more than the job based pay. It reduces the need for employees to look out periodic performance review as well as promotion only means to increase their earnings. Additionally, it better facilitates the planning of employees' career path, which provides a stepping stone and expand the ways of one's skill. So these are the different merits and demerits relating to skill based pay as well as a job based pay. So this is our today's class regarding the compensation management. We have discussed the basic concept of a compensation, the meaning and definition, then the principle of a sound compensation system, compensation management, various tools regarding compensation management, that is job based compensation system as well as a skill based compensation system, and how we design the compensation management system. So this is my today's class. Hope you students all have clear my today's discussion. If you are having any doubt, then you can give your comment in the YouTube comment section. Thank you. Have a good day to all of you.